Good evening. It is Monday, October the 3rd, about 7:45 p.m. This is meteorologist Shay Gibson with leading edge weather and sail flow, bringing you a preliminary forecast for the Alice Cup this weekend, leaving for Rockville Saturday at 9 a.m. from the Charleston Yacht Club and coming back from Rockville Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. to Charleston. And so we got a little bit to talk about for weather. I'm going to put myself in the corner here, not to get too far ahead, right? Because we still have a lot of room for error and change and what the forecast is going to be. But just a reminder that we are in that 4 to 6 day period out. But here's the splash page for Cora. You can go here to the Alice Cup and see all the information there in the Alice Cup 1 and 2. I will be at the skippers meeting this Thursday to report out in person and give a final forecast on Friday as far as for the Saturday race goes. I'll be also providing, I'll get with Mark DeGuire on this on maybe another forecast on Saturday, but until then, we'll just hold off. But I want to go ahead and chime right into the surface map, right? So this is the WPC surface map, and I know we're pretty far out, right? Here we are on Tuesday as we get into the evening hours. We have high pressure built over Canada. Let me bring my draw tool over. So I know I'm going to be doing some drawing here. This is going to be the dominant feature, bringing cool northerly winds in for the next few days. We're going to gradually warm up as this high drops down over the Appalachians and spreads east over the Atlantic. We're going to get a mild sea breeze building as we get into Thursday as another cold front lines up from the west. So what ends up happening for Friday is we have a double cold front approaching by morning time. We have this giant area of high pressure. This is going to be our player that we're going to be watching. This area right here off the northern tier of the United States. It's going to be sliding east over the Great Lakes and positioning down over the Ohio Valley. And then this is where it's going to expand. So we'll go ahead and bring it out a little farther in time. See, it drops down and then starts to head east over the Ohio Valley. And this is what's going to be a big player in our weather as we get into Saturday morning to start. So with central high pressure, this continental high pressure building up, the gradient going out, the ridge axis extending out across the mid-Atlantic, right behind this front. If the timing goes right, this is going to be a fairly moderate to possibly somewhat strong northeast to east northeast build as we get into Saturday. This will be good for going down the coast, but coming back up the coast may be a little bit tricky because this high wants to expand eastwards and centralize right over Kentucky. And this is going to keep an east-northeast gradient over our area in this clockwise fashion pretty much the whole day Sunday with a moderate flow. 1028 millibars isn't that strong, but when you get along that 1024 surface high millibar range, the ice attacks line up where you get a fairly moderate and steady east-northeast flow. So the more east in it, the better. We want that for running the line back up the coastline. But if it ends up having a little bit more northerly element, that's going to present a few more challenges. So not to get too far ahead, but this is Sunday morning. And then as we get out to Monday, this gradient can pretty much lock in for the entirety of the race. So starting out a little stronger as we get into Saturday night. And then as we get into Sunday morning, that's going to be a little milder than the Saturday flow. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now. But this is all kind of built on just, for several days out. Looking at the Charleston Corinth buoy as just a point of reference for a forecast, since this is about 18 miles offshore, we're going to run it all the way out. Now, again, we're getting really far ahead here in the forecast, but I want you just to see what the Saturday AM winds are going to look like. The GFS, of course, the GFS and the wave, CMC, Canadian, all pointing towards the northeast to east-northeast flow. Leaving Charleston or trying to get out of Charleston by 7 to 9 a.m., we're getting up into the 20s. So we're looking at a fairly strong gradient, moderate to strong gradient building into the area as far as these models go for this far out. And then as we get into Sunday, that east-northeast flow pretty much locks in. Now, the long-range models or the medium-range models are actually holding that flow as fairly moderate to strong. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But go down the coast, a little farther down, I'm just going to pick Calabogue Sound as a point and run that out just as a point for Sunday morning for the return back and see what it says. And that's pretty much, again, the GFS reading in a more of an easterly veer to it in the morning, late morning to early afternoon. So there again, we're about 6 days out here, lots of room for error. But just note that one thing that it looks fairly certain that we're going to have a fairly aggressive northeast to east northeast build moving into the area for this weekend. That much looks like it's probably likely going to happen with all the model agreement. Looking at the nearshore wave buoy forecast, we're going to pick the Corinth 18 miles out off of Charleston just as a reference point. As we get into 8 and 9, the peak period's right around 7 to 9 seconds. The wave heights will be starting to build Friday into Friday afternoon into Saturday morning. We're starting to see waves 2 to 3, building 3 to 4. I don't go out past too much farther to 10-9 to Sunday, but the waves will be building on Saturday and Sunday. Either way, we're going to be looking at maybe a start for Saturday at 3 to 4 feet as you get beyond 5 nautical miles, and maybe even 5 to 6 feet as you get into Sunday. So it's going to get a little rougher, farther offshore, a little less farther inshore, but it's going to be kind of rough. You're going to have an east-northeast wind building or a northeast over to east-northeast wind building. The period could go up to 10, 11 seconds, but if it holds down lower than 7, 8 second range, it means it's going to be a pretty gnarly, bumpy ride. As far as tropics go, nothing to be concerned about right now. We have Invest 91L moving over into the Caribbean with a 20-30% chance. This one being a little tricky. This is Invest 91L. This is 90. I'm sorry, 91L is 92L is the one out here with a 78% chance. Again, nothing for us to worry about at the time, but looks like our temperatures, right? So normally this time of the year, we're still holding pretty warm, but we've actually dipped into fall temperatures already. It looks like we're going to be locked in. It gets a little bit warmer as we get into Friday in the low 80s, dropping down overnight as that northeast wind pulls down the coastline and drops the air temperatures, drops the dew points, makes the air drier. It'll feel a little more comfortable than those warmer, moist 80s, but it will be cool. You'll have some cool nights, especially Saturday night, Sunday night. We're looking at upper 50s, maybe mid 50s. So keep that in mind. Sea surface temperatures, let me just take a quick look at those. For reference, for right now, the French Quarter is reading at 70.5 degrees, so a 12-degree difference from just 8 or 9 days ago. So now the water temps are cooler, and it's going to continue to be that way. In fact, if we look at our corn buoy, let's see what the water temperature is out there. I'm trying to see if this one has the information. And water temperature 74 degrees, so maybe a little warmer out off the coastal shelf, but inside the harbor definitely cooler. And these overnight temperatures down in the 50s are going to really pull that sea surface temperature down. So we could be looking at upper 60s by the time this weekend rolls around, maybe even mid 60s. So don't keep that off the board. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the forecast and just say be ready for an aggressive northeast wedge to work its way down by overnight Friday into Saturday morning. It just depends on the passage and the timing of that cold front. I'll be reporting out. I'll be probably starting out, since this race doesn't start till Saturday, I'll probably do my next forecast either tomorrow night or Wednesday, depending on how the forecast sticks, or if it changes significantly by tomorrow night, I'll do a report then. But if not, I'll do on Wednesday night. Then I'll see you guys at the Skippers meeting Thursday night. And until then, everybody, take care. Keep your eye on the forecast. Keep your eye on what kind of gear to bring, what kind of sails, jibs, everything else that you're gonna put up, because we're looking at an aggressive wind for the race. Until next time, everybody, take care. Look at the website for this at the core website under Skippers. In fact, let me go ahead real quick just to show you where that is. Go back to the website just so folks know where to go. Skipper information, offshore wind and weather, and that's where it's going to be in there. And I'll make sure to put it the link and update from the last forecasting. Until next time, everybody, take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.